Well, hey there, tubes and tubers. M and V here, and we're ready to react to a thing. And what thing is that? Oh, it's WandaViz behind-the-scenes featurette. It's called Marvel Studios Assembled, the making of WandaVision. And we're ready for this one, aren't you? We know you are, because you're probably here. If you're watching, sorry. I've been going all day with a lot of stuff, so my brain is just extra fried as per usual. But V, what's the description below? And let's not scare the kind people for showing up. I'm not usually this weird.
Yeah, in the description below we have some links for some fundraisers for the Black Lives Matter movement, as well as links to our Instagram and Twitter and our gaming channel.
Ooh, lovely. I'm excited.
Me too.
So we're going to be watching this. We don't have to wait for any load-ups or load-in times or anything, right, V? So go ahead and just sign on into your thing. We've watched the entirety of the series. We've reacted and speculated to every episode that has come up thus far, and even the finale. But we're going to watch the making of, and at the end of the making of, we're going to discuss where we think, not where we think, but where we know Marvel's future is headed. So other than that, a few things that I hope that we get answered. The Paul Bettany acting with himself scenario. Very curious about how that turns out. I love me some Paul Bettany, and also very curious to see what happens with the Agatha Harkness thing and how they played with that behind the scenes as well too. You know, like the two Paul Bettanys is always a good thing, and how they figured out Agatha is really cool too.
He was sneaky.
Yeah,
Someone I wanted to work with all my life. Okay, Paul.
Come on, it's a good one. Come on, it's a good one.
I loved it.
Come on.
It was great.
That's a good one.
That was fantastic.
I don't know why you gotta be such a naysayer to the Betts. The Paul Betts. You know what he says all the time in every interview, and this was like on Reddit, and this was everywhere. Snitches get stitches. He kept saying it over and over again, and the internet loves him for it. I think it's amazing. Snitches get stitches. You're right. You're right. PB and J. I don't know. No, we're not going to do that. All right, so let's get to it, right? So we're assuming it's under this Marvel. Marvel, would it be under WandaVision?
No, it's not. I already looked.
Thanks. Where is it under, V? Thanks for the mystery until we're right here.
It was under Marvel.
So it's under Assembled?
Under Cinematic Universe. Just keep going this way, I believe. I feel like that's where I saw it.
Oh, okay. We're scrolling through the... I'm trying to find it. Can't we just type it in?
You can always try. You can just search.
Where is it?
Left.
Oh. Okay. Assembled. There it is. Assembled.
Nope.
Assembled. Assembled. So the first one of Assembled, we're gonna load in the Matrix now. We don't have to wait for any loading times like before. So here we go, going into the Matrix now. This is a however many minutes, 57 minutes, 58 minutes or so. So we've prepared a slideshow presentation for you. We're gonna hit play now in 3, 2.
Fun.
Bloop. So that's gonna be going on in the background as we do this. All right, let's hit it. And we're at 5 seconds in.
It's so pretty.
We're seeing the old school set, the 1950s set.
Seeing it in color is weird.
Oh yeah, that guy's got a lot of awards. No, he's nominated for the director. Are you kidding? Yeah, this is amazing. So we're going to go through the intro too, because this is the first one for Assembled. It's Marvel Studios Assembled. I think even after Falcon Winter Soldier, they're going to have one too. This is WandaVision, the making of. God, every era they did so well. And he was blue. He was blue. love these behind the scenes things. Just starting off, I've grown up loving behind the scenes stuff. One of the first ones I ever saw was for Labyrinth.
Yeah.
Jimmy Woo, look at their costume. Whoa. Wow. A lot of that was practical. Did you see Paul Bettany was flying around? The idea of him being Jarvis. Look at this. All the way back in the day when Paul Bettany was the voiceover of Jarvis in the first Iron Man. That's nutty. I love that.
I also love that even though the first episode was filmed all in black and white, they still gave them, like, the sets really pretty.
So there's the one with, oh yeah, so they're all the way back at Ultron, because that was Vision's first appearance, and Wanda's. Both of their first appearances were in Age of Ultron. I keep forgetting that. Look at her. She looks so different. Her makeup and her everything. Her look, her jacket.
Was only really like teeing me up for possibilities that we didn't know if we would actually fulfill those possibilities.
Look, there he is. There's her brother Pietro, the actual Quicksilver from her timeline.
Certain places, whether it's just like a glance too long with Vision, or just we were trying to play around with that in Age of Ultron.
Oh, geez.
I feel like the handoff to different directors have been completely different experiences.
Oh yeah, Civil War.
Specifically, I think the Russo brothers were, very honest about,
Oh man, the Russo brothers.
something that, like, that you,
Jeez.
shepherd, and that you take full ownership of. And I was like, okay. So I kind of, had to choreograph with this choreographer, Jenny White, who we brought on in Age of Ultron, bringing that energy to the event.
And she's doing
had to kind of figure out our
That
Witch
corset,
hands.
man. Yeah.
Witch hands.
her own place,
Oh yeah, the original, the Age of Ultron corset. Yeah, that was interesting.
finding solace in
We don't talk about it these days. Aww.
And I think Paul and I, we both really believed, as much as it's fun to be part of the humor and the playfulness of the Avengers, we've always...
It's so funny to see him in scenes as
our relationship together
his skin is
created like just an
in life.
found
Paul Bettany's skin in life.
play around with irony, really, which is kind of odd in these movies when so much is ironic and funny and fun to watch, but it's also kind of lovely that it's told through their strange love story.
She must have, like, Elizabeth Olsen must have absolutely loved playing with going evil and being evil,
Oh, yeah.
basically. Because her character was always questionable about the evil stuff, because she would always cross the line a lot of the times. So in WandaVision, to see her do that, to cross the line, pretty cool. I hate saying pretty cool to that, though. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not encouraging that. I'm not encouraging going to the dark side, clearly. I'm just saying it was an interesting idea. And then seeing her backstory, her and Pietro, and then the DVDs, or VHSs or whatever. Oh my God, that was just so sad.
Things that were in my head, and all these like inner monologues and threads and arcs that I kind of just created, and they just really took it in such a deep way and created such beautiful arcs.
So
Puppies!
I love seeing all of the old school stuff. 70s, 80s, 60s. It doesn't matter. I just love seeing every era. What an interesting capacity. And you see Kevin Feige there. He very much was like the showrunner for WandaVision, I guess. With head writer, executive producer Jacques. She was, okay, so she was like spearheading the majority of it. But he was like acting in the like Favreau Filoni capacity of like the two, what is it, there can be two, or wait, rule of two. Oh, funny. Yes. This director did a podcast with Kevin Smith and Mark Bernard recently, and he talked about his experience. He was on Facts of Life. He was on Growing Pains. He was in, like, the director when he was a kid, and he's been in, and then he started directing them once he was older. So if his face looks familiar, you've seen him in other shows and movies. Yeah. Different Strokes.
Growing Pains, etc. But I've also directed a lot of, large scale spectacle, and so the idea
Right.
that there existed a project in the Marvel universe, which I'm also an enormous fan of, and dressed up like superheroes from the
Oh
Marvel
my god. With a night shield, because he didn't have the Captain America one. Oh, that's clever.
things that I've always loved into one crazy project was almost like too hard to believe. It's too good to be true. All right, ready to jump? All right, let's do it.
Wow. It's so sterile, right? Look how plain everything looks. And it's so... Oh. The 1950s is probably the most uncomfortable looking set, right? You feel like you're in an office building. Because everyone's in a suit and every woman's in a dress. Sorry, what were you going to say?
Oh, I was gonna say, it's cool that they had an actual studio audience, but I don't recall ever seeing them. So it's funny that they're in costume.
Right.
Maybe they had shots that they didn't use of the studio audience.
More than likely, yeah.
And then over here, right to your right, is the house where Wanda and Vision live. This is their
Oh man, that's great. Oh, I love it. Just like the old school sitcoms. Like I Love Lucy, Dick Van Dyke Show. Man.
living room.
So, what's a single gal like you doing rattling around this big house?
Behind you is our live audience seating. We wanted it to feel
You
period.
know,
So that's why we have the old wooden chairs and it matched the
it definitely, you can tell that the eras influenced their performances, right? Because they were more theatrical in the 50s. They were much more, we're doing a show. And then as each era went on, they were being more natural
Yeah.
with the acting, I feel.
Him and Kevin Feige had lunch with Dick Van Dyke. to
Yeah,
talk about
I'm not
this.
surprised. Like every
What?
time I hear something amazing happen, I go, yeah, okay. These guys have done amazing things. They've walked with giants.
We'll get the living room dressed in company, and then we would light the candles right at the very
And then pick up their shiz
Dick Van Dyke Show really was
for Wanda and Viz.
put it up and
Pardon my
show
language.
it once in front of the audience like a play.
You know, he also looks kind of like Will Wheaton, too. That's the other thing I've noticed about this guy. He looks a little like Will Wheaton. Just a smidge. Or maybe Will Wheaton looks a smidge like him, right? Even with the beard, because Will Wheaton now has a beard, too. I'd say he looks more like Will Wheaton now than he did back in the day. Because he said some show he was on, and I instantly remembered the episode he was on. He explained it. Or a movie or something.
Oh, is that right?
So I'm a little anxious about the whole thing.
Yeah, I would be too.
Still, I just
Hundreds of 100+ years ago.
100+ years ago.
That's a long time.
100+ years ago.
We're so excited to have you guys. We've been working really hard the last 2 weeks on making this happen for you all.
You guys can give us all the laughter and all the natural reactions that you have.
I love seeing the director going up to the crowd.
Especially if you're one of those loud laughters. When you actually watch the show,
and explaining the scenario. So what they're doing is, because we're seeing this, but you're not, clearly you might be with us. He's explained to the audience how they're going to be doing it, and how the audience is watching, but they're also a part of it too. So they're like dressed up in character, but they're also watching it like a play. So the idea is that they're watching it like a show, they're treating it like a show, but they're all in character and they're all dressed up. I think that's really, really cool. Everything about this is really cool. Oh, that's right. God, I keep forgetting Elizabeth Olsen's an Olsen. Dummy. She's an Olsen. She literally looks like them, kind of. She looks like she's their sister because she is. I'm an idiot. You mean you've come this far not knowing Elizabeth Olsen's an Olsen? Shut up!
It's funny because like she looks like an Olsen now, but when she was a kid, she looked like they could have been triplets.
Oh, right? Really?
Even
oh,
though they were
man.
different age,
you
she
know,
looks just like
I
them.
think I remember an episode of Full House where they did a flashback to Michelle, and they used her for the flashback. I could be wrong. In the ments below, if anyone ever watches this, comment on that, because we don't have time to do the research. Paul Bettany's just like, oh god, this is a funny bit. Cut. That was great. Lizzie, P-Bait,
Oh,
P-Bet,
that's cool.
you're the best. You guys are the best. You guys are perfect, never change a thing.
But I think it was so rewarding and so funny. Us running backstage, bumping into me.
Oh, totally.
Making a drop of props or whatever. You know what I
Hit
mean?
just the idea of them doing this whole
It was so
switching to a TV world. They had a crash course in television history, in production. They were working, basically, the cast had to learn how to act in every genre of television, which is very subtle. It's very subtle. Oh, Deborah Jo Rupp from that 70s show? Eric Foreman's mom, Mrs. Foreman? Are you kidding me? Dude. Kitty Foreman? Now Red. Oh, I love her. She's the best. Eric, quit being a spaz. She's tremendous. Everyone kept thinking she was the third witch. Did you know that? They thought there was a third witch, and they said that she was the high-waisted pants in the 50s. Oh my god.
Yeah, I did want to talk about my butt.
No, I don't want to talk about any of this.
It makes me have better posture, and makes me want to walk like this.
I have exactly the same thing with my face.
It's
He has a
influencing.
fake button?
Sound probably, but it makes me kind of want to do this.
He has a fake butt?
We knew that when we started this show,
Why?
Because he's Paul. He's an English boy.
sell it authentically to an audience with every level of recreation. So that includes
I'm sure he has a nice bum.
operation, era,
He was wearing 1950s pants that were up to his boobs. All right, give him a break.
And he was able to try to match how close it is we could
1950s pants were baggy on men. There's a lot of draping fabrics. And all the fabric was uncomfortable. It was like a blend of like nylon. Everything had nylon in it. Everything had like some plastic in it.
We wanted to make sure we approached it with authenticity and not parody. And to that end, we wanted to shoot it.
You know, it must be exhausting.
So crazy.
I mean, it's cool, but like, it's already hard enough to get a show to do one era. They did 4 or 5 different eras throughout the season. That's hard enough for one show to do one era, right? And these guys nailed it on all fronts.
You know, I came up under the guys who did Bewitched. They were my mentors. And so I
That's so cool. So they had a meeting with Dick Van Dyke.
to do it. It's a lot of fun. And so we have him and his team doing
It's
I'm,
so crazy.
I am so amazed at the practical effects that they did for WandaVision, because as we're watching the behind the scenes, we're seeing so much practical stuff going on. It's ridiculous. Oh, totally. Yeah, she knows.
Something that I don't really
Every era.
50s was the hardest for me because it was like a warm-up. Once it clicked, it was a blast.
So the 50s was the hardest for Elizabeth Olsen. That's interesting. That's interesting. Paul Bettany seems like he's having a blast. He's got a ukulele. He's got his trilby on.
Of course he is.
He's just smiling. He's happy every era he's in.
I wonder if Jennifer was in the audience. Probably not. She's probably busy.
How come Paul Bettany hasn't ever played David Bowie in a movie? He could play David Bowie in a movie, like older, like when Bowie gets older. Like they could have Paul Bettany play an older David Bowie. Like why? Sorry, I'm just saying it over and over again. But I would. I could see Paul Bettany playing that.
That would be kind of meta, actually, considering
Oh,
he's
totally.
married to Jennifer Connelly.
Like this is that we really are making one giant movie.
The amount of wire work on this show that is practical, it's like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon wire work that they're doing, even on a sitcom set, and it's legit. I thought they were, to be honest with you, Marvel's so good at CGing things. I thought they just CG'd most of it. I legitimately thought they CG'd most of the special effects of them floating, like blue screened it in. They're in the streets about 20 feet up in the air on wires. That's pretty great.
Who is sitcom gold.
Oh, she's sitcom gold.
To be a part in our wacky show.
My great nephew basically said if I did not take the job, he would never visit me again.
Oh my god.
Well, here I am.
She has aged so well.
Oh yeah. Well, she's got the money to age well.
She just thought it was
Maybe she just ages well.
She's that rich to age well.
I got to do this thing where I don't know what it's called. It's a body scan.
Oh god, they did it to her too? They body scan everyone in Marvel for toys and things. I'm not kidding. She's gonna get a toy now. They only do that for toys. She's getting a toy.
I don't know how I went so long never working with
They literally monetize everything in Marvel. They body scanned the actress from that 70s show who played the mom.
her consistently throughout the decades. And
Also, Marvel puts them on a regimen.
so
Like, everyone gets on a strict diet and a strict workout in Marvel. Everybody.
required of her.
You have a personal trainer, you have a nutritionist, you have a dietitian.
This character is like a blooming onion to me. Like the fact that I was able to
Catherine Hahn?
Yes.
She is tremendous.
She's wonderful.
Every movie she's in, she tends to steal it. Have you noticed that? Every comedy she's been in, she's stolen it. She's
I
just
would-
that good.
Yeah, I would really say she didn't, not quite, but she got real close to upstaging Wanda in this show. She came real close.
I think she did towards the you know what I mean? Towards the end, I think she upstaged Wanda by floating above her. Only for a bit. She upstaged Wanda for a bit. You got to admit.
See, I felt the opposite. I felt like if she upstaged her at all, it was in the beginning with the comedy, but for the superhero stuff, Wanda shined.
I was gonna say I felt like she was upstaging her by having the upper hand and like stealing the show and being so good. But then Elizabeth Olsen came in with her characterization, this character she's been building up over like a decade or so, and she really nailed it and stole it back. But that's what I love. I want competition in a show because I want the talent to be good. I want that chemistry. They're villain and hero. I want them to fight.
Fancy. I have wanted to be
Ta-
in MCU since
Monica Rambeau
I didn't even know what I was auditioning
was so good.
We all know Marvel is very top.
She's gonna get her own show, right? She's gonna do stuff. She's going on to do stuff. She's with Sword. So Monica Rambeau's got to keep going on. She's Photon now.
I was like, why do I
She's Photon.
this? I'm not sure because it's not Marvel as my mind can process. And so they sent notes like, just overact. It's okay.
Just overact.
We don't care that
Just overact.
around it. That's not quite what we're looking for. So
Oh, hey, Drew.
and I did some very
We're on a different gaming channel for the gaming now, and it's in the description below. So sub there and watch there.
Yeah,
We've been
yeah.
Nate's been there, and sorry, we're talking about the gaming channel really quick. Sorry, we'll talk to you about it in a bit. But we're in the middle of If you want to join us, we're at 2121. Just so you know.
But this time, it was no heartbreak. They called and they were like, "Hey, you got the part," and I'm like, "What part? What's the part?"
Yeah.
What is it? But it's Marvel, okay. Before they even told me what it was, I said to my agent, I was like, "Oh my gosh."
They're obsessed with the mom pants at Marvel, right?
Yeah.
Mom pants at Marvel. Marvel mom pants.
So when we leave Captain Marvel, Monica is a young girl. She's got her whole life ahead of her.
You have to go.
Boodly boodly boo. New photon.
I'm gonna give it up to sit on my couch and watch Fresh Prince with me.
She's always been sassy.
Well, if she's like her mother.
And when we pick up with her in WandaVision,
Her mother was always sassy in the stories. In the stories. Back in the stories.
and I feel like we've gotten to a really great
This such a cool part watching Monica Rambeau like basically transform into photon. Like that was the moment
opportunity to play Monica Rambeau.
because it supercharged her. But I wonder how she's gonna get more supercharged. Does she just absorb energy? And yeah, so she's the scientific equivalent to what Agatha was. Agatha was a magic version of photon. So photon absorbs energy and she could use it against people. That's really cool. Again, we got to see if she's in the meta-human category or the mutant category. Whoa, that's right, Natalie Portman. I'm so stupid. I keep forgetting Natalie Portman's in it. She's Jane Foster. Jane Foster. Take that, Hemsworth. You're so talented and beautiful. Take that. Randall Park's the best. Kat Dennings is the best. Jimmy Woo and Darcy. Darwoo is the best.
Tiana Paris, that's her name.
Tiana Paris. Parrish? Paris.
Paris.
You can't go back into the hex.
Worst case scenario, Wanda removes my free will. It puts me in ultra low rise jeans.
I feel like it is like a family, you know? It's like a big family.
Huh.
To be a member of the family.
You know they're gonna do something with Jimmy Woo, right? They have to. He other than being the new Coulson, he just needs to just do stuff, you know? Like he needs to go be in more things. He needs his own show. Funny X-Files with Darcy and Jimmy Woo. Darwoo.
That was a violation of
Funny X-Files.
paragraph 3 of the
We need this. I need this show to happen.
such a thrill for me because I just love the characters so much, and to have so much of the character we established in Ant-Man and the Wasp with the magic.
Oh yes, and he is also a sorcerer, Jimmy Woo. A master of illusions.
Flourish.
Flourish.
Like all those little things,
Jimmy Woo's the best.
seeds that we planted in Ant-Man and the Wasp, they all kind of get to blossom in WandaVision. This isn't a missing persons case, Captain Rambo. It's a missing town. Population 3,892.
Westview.
Why haven't you gone inside?
We might need to remember Westview in the future, right? For other things.
Totally, WandaVision runs the gamut. I can't even keep up myself. Sometimes I'm like, wait, which world are we in now?
Oh, the witches.
The first episode, it's the 50s, and it's silly humor, but it was really great physical comedy. And that bleeds into the 60s, the second episode.
But the humor made everything surreal, didn't it? And it made it so that when they switched between the more dramatic angles, you could tell he would get these lower angles or he'd get these weird, because in horror they do sideways angles, or in sci-fi they always do these kind of like low or high or kind of crooked angles, and they do that to let you know things are weird, things are off. So the whole sitcom was shot straight on, right? And then whenever the weird David Lynch stuff happened, he would zoom in at a weird angle, at a sideways angle, and or he would come at him from a sideways shot, and they were lit in a backlight, which made them so eerie. And they'd be like, what? And they'd turn the camera like, what? Like, look at the cameras they're working with. Good God. What are those, reds? It's probably red. Or a purple. I don't know anything.
Oh, come on, Paul. I'm pretty sure you have like 5 kids. You know how this works.
Yeah, Paul Bettany's got like a litter.
Went through every
He's
single
got a litter of Bettany's.
pregnancy and
Bettany Connolly's.
Yeah.
it was so perfect and funny.
Ooh.
I mean, that's a little off, but they're gonna have really attractive kids.
Oh, totally.
We were doing this bit where I'm trying to hide that I'm pregnant, and so Monica is over.
Oh man, that scene was great. The birth scene when she was pregnant and giving birth and
In the kitchen, and everything's kind of going bonkers in the kitchen.
yeah.
Trying to hide.
And oh man, that was such a great sitcom moment. But again, didn't everything feel undercut by a level of surrealness that just made you go like, what?
Then I'd have to freeze again, then I'd have a contraction. And there was a moment where I had to do a double take, and I kept making it like a triple take, and quadruple take. I just kept like amping it up each time, and it was
That was
moment
the
when
right thing to do. Look at her.
said, okay, let's try and keep it.
You can get away with so much with that sitcom acting, right? You could get away with so much. You could just go for it. Connect 4.
And I think
Go further. Connect 4.
hard because he was telling me to stop.
Baby's born, and I miss it. But I'm there for
Ah.
the baby, and oh my
Yeah,
God,
they had to superimpose stuff
So, yeah,
in
we're
post.
twins, and they're confusing too.
Turns out babies have a whole lot of crap that comes with them.
Yee! Hello, babies.
Oh no,
Daddy?
they've aged up and they're looking at you for food and security and money. They need money.
We don't think you'll be old enough to properly care for an animal.
You know what's weird? This is like the 80s one, right? Yeah, this is the 80s one.
Are we gonna see it? Are we gonna see the switch?
This 80s one looks oddly familiar to my childhood.
Yeah.
Like, I'm looking at the clothes they're wearing. I'm looking at the kitchen, and I'm like, oh my god, that reminds me of like in the 80s growing up. Jesus. They nailed that 80s thing because the dude was in the 80s sitcoms. He knew what it looked like. He was a kid. He was traumatized by the 80s sitcoms.
This is still the Dick Van Dyke set, or the inspired by Dick Van Dyke.
I just, man, wow, right?
Inspired by Full House.
Looking
Growing Pains.
back, I was appreciating every era, but now, man, this behind the scenes is getting me even more amped about it.
When you look back at it, it's a beloved generation. It's also
It's so fun to watch. I love behind the scenes stuff.
you look at hair and clothes, we all wonder.
I told you I had a feeling about her the whole time. I was like, she's dressed like a witch. Why is she dressed like a witch? That's intentional, right? And I kept saying it over and over again. I did let it blow to the wayside because I kept thinking Mephisto. The Billy and Tommy thing was a bit of a misdirect. However, that doesn't mean Mephisto still won't pay off. So shut up about that, internet.
Hats with the flowers on them. I just missed it, but
Someone put out a fake photoshopped thing for Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and it said Mephisto and the Winter Mephisto. It was really good.
makes me feel like I'm filled with secrets.
Filled with secrets.
At the end of that
Oh,
I gotta remember that one.
they're talking about it.
Oh, dude, when Quicksilver showed up,
that she consciously
wow, I didn't think they were gonna do it. And then the very end of the episode,
knock on the doors.
it was the other Quicksilver, and that's what misdirected me. That it was Evan Peters.
The character he plays is like Uncle Jesse.
Oh, he's Uncle. Oh, yeah, Uncle, right? Some uncle. He's like their older brother. He might as well be their older brother. And I loved the Malcolm in the Middle 90s, by the way. Can I just say? The Malcolm in the Middle 90s was like one of my favorites.
Winston, you're borscht. I'm just trying to do my part. Okay? Come to town unexpectedly.
Someone else said Lizzie McGuire.
Monster up trouble with the Rugrats, and all
Yeah?
of a sudden,
Someone said Lizzie McGuire, too. I have never seen that, so I don't...
If you know who the little brother on Lizzie McGuire is, you understand.
Okay. I don't...
He was a nightmare.
Thrilled. I'm such a huge fan of the Marvel Universe, so I'm like, I'm just
Hold on, he's casted as Pietro Maximoff.
Yes. Yeah, I told... Yeah, they said that. He's... But
Okay.
within that universe, his fake character... We talked about this several times. Why do you keep deciding that it's... Don't shush me. This is... Like, they can't hear it anyway. They're not supposed to.
We cast Pietro?
For the 80s, we're doing
She recast Pietro?
Who's the boss?
What's going on?
Who's a popsicle?
And yeah, that's my
Who's the
character. So I'm
popsicle?
very excited for that. And then also
Oh yeah, he does look kind of like a grape popsicle.
by Bobby.
Now I want a grape popsicle. Dude. We don't have popsicles, do we? Now I want a
Oh.
grape popsicle, son of a... Oh god, their actual kid photos are so funny. They were such goobers growing up, right? Sorry, everyone is. We all are. I am. I'm still a goober. I never stop being a goober.
Do you think were those actually Paul Bettany's kid photos, and then they
Yes,
just
I think they
superimposed
were-
Vision's face?
Yes, I think they just like, I think they digitally, I think they did that. I think they digitally just made him look like Vision throughout his childhood, which is pretty cool actually. That sounds like a fun thing. Be like, oh look, it's like if I were Vision growing up.
The theme songs were
God,
so
him
good.
moving in. It makes sense that he had to be blue for the black and white, because you can't get the hue for purple or silver metal looking. That was okay. Him going through the door and leaving her on the other
That was
side.
a great moment.
Dude. It felt like a parody, but they weren't. They were like true. They weren't parodies. It's hard to explain because they were like parodies, but they were more like inspired by. They were more true to the actual era and to the sitcoms. So it's hard to say they were parodies, even though they kind of were. They were basically that, but it didn't feel like it. It felt true.
And she was like, that's the one.
That's it.
It could be like the 50s where it's like,
And he just phases through. That's funny.
or, you know, the 60s one, which is better.
That's cool to see.
Man, the different. He's playing the different themes now. For like the 50s, 60s, 70s.
Became finding a way to hide that musical signature.
That's so cool.
So,
You look at the period, you look at the influences of the period, and the instrumentation of
Huh.
the period, and the language of the period.
Right.
talked a lot with Matt and Jack about our favorites, the things that we were all drawn to became the things that we tried to emulate the most.
We often talk to them before we hit each decade,
Hmm.
at least for a half hour. So
That's good. So they do before each decade, which is obvious they put that much thought into it.
Yeah.
But it's good to know they did that.
60s, let's talk about it.
The animation I love, because it's so true to the era. Like do you think they even cell shaded, like, or do you think probably they probably did everything true to form? They could afford it.
Of that time, and made sure that we were really referencing sort of that bebop jazz, the cool jazz that was there, and also just that swinging 60s culture of it.
Oh, the swinging 60s culture. The neighbor, what's funny is Agatha always got more and more risque. Every decade, the flirty neighbor got more flirty.
She was sassy.
She
for
was
sure.
yeah, but you know what I mean? But like sassy but flirty, right? And so every era she got a little sexier and a little bit more risque. And like she was wearing more like revealing clothes and you're like, geez,
Travels in a groovy van.
sexuality changes throughout the eras, doesn't it? And just seeing the clothes too. I love the 70s clothes. I love the 70s clothes the most. They're my favorite. I wonder why. Gee, but I love the 70s clothes the most. In color. WandaVision in color.
I mean, in particular, the 80s is where we were all from, where we all grew up.
Ugh.
After school, let's pick up home a bunch of different strokes and put them through
I hate the 80s clothes. I like the 70s clothes more. I like the 70s clothes more, but
Scheduled around family ties coming on or growing pains.
The one that they've done for the 80s is by far my favorite. I sing it all the time.
Babies!
dude,
What makes me giggle is that Paul Bettany had to dress up in all those costumes and take all those pictures with those babies.
they are so right about this theme song. It was really good. The 80s one was the best.
To have this wonderful collaboration with
Malcolm in the Middle.
original
Love it.
writer
I love the Malcolm in the Middle.
the lead singer of Bikini.
Oh, no way! I like Bikini
Wow,
Kill.
no way. Bikini Kill? Dude, that's legit.
So I'm pretty sure Bikini Kill sang the intro to the 80s.
Wow. That's
To
pretty.
the 90s episode.
The 90s episode. The 80s was the composers. But everyone said they're. I like the 80s and the 90s ones because I grew up in those eras. So to me, those click more.
Story weight, just had to set tone.
I think it's
Agnes.
a tone unlike anything I've ever seen. It's fun, it's funny, it's nostalgic, and it's
Creepy, right? Always because of her. Oh God, the real world stuff.
To jump off the genre blending, even in the 50s and 60s episodes.
They went to almost every era, even to ancient witch times. Like they didn't. The one place they didn't go was prehistoric. They didn't go prehistoric, but they went basically everywhere else.
To make you feel off kilter. So in order to get to that cinematic
Or future. They didn't do future. They didn't do prehistoric.
something being off in each, because something has to go wrong in order to advance to the next decade, or else why are you changing the scenario or the circumstances? And so we use Twilight Zone tropes for that, and then
Huh.
something like
Okay.
once we get to the Halloween
The Twilight
episode,
Zone
we're in this,
tropes.
like, ideal town,
I like that.
Halloween,
That's a smart idea.
perfect type of Halloween, truly like the most charming costumes I've seen on extras ever. It was very, very cute. Kids are
Because they're, you know,
havoc, and
they
it's
want
so
every costume to stand out and be Halloweeny. So it has to be extra bright and colorful to stand out.
to be in these old costumes of the characters. You know, in Age of Ultron, that everyone referenced certain comic books for me to focus on and told me, don't pitch.
They look so dorky in their old costumes. Their old comic book costumes are so dorky.
And I was like, oh
But
my
that's the
God.
point. It was the different time,
Incorporated
different
the
style.
retro costume of the Scarlet Witch on Halloween.
They look like such nerds in their costumes, though. They look like they're cosplaying as their own characters. I love that.
To wear that, even if it were ironically, I would be like, oh, really? But now that I have like so much love for the fandom and so much love for the comics, it's so fun to be in that costume. And that's
What? Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
all dressed like he's like
Oh, God.
Yeah.
wrestler.
With the Converse. I didn't know he was wearing the Chucks. He had yellow Chucks
He
on.
did.
Low tops.
Ridiculous.
Look at yellow Chucks. Or banana, probably. It's probably banana colored, flavored. Ugh.
Vision from the comic books, and it was my favorite costume because it was
Of course.
so humiliating,
Dude.
funny, and I had a pair of shorts pulled
All the way up. Yes, such a nerd.
yellow Converse.
He's such a dork in his costume. I love it.
Out further to where we call Alex Avenue.
She looks cute in hers, right? Like it's silly on her. But with him, it's like he looks like a goof.
That's the end of the hex. And so the closer you get to the end of the hex, the less
He's still got a tremendous cape, though,
Oh,
right?
this is creepy. We're gonna see
Oh,
this.
the frozen, the people in the hex. Yeah.
like I wrote.
And they're still going.
People were having these sort of repetitive things, or hanging out Halloween decorations and taking it down and doing it again, and then and sort of characters that you realise are just
Wow.
less well drawn.
Making them like animatronics in a Disney
Yeah.
thing, right? Uh-oh.
Intriguing, but they're just absolutely frozen still. Are those your children?
Oh boy.
Are you waiting for something?
That's creepy.
Oh boy. That is so weird.
Of the whole show. It's so much fun to have gone through all of these multi-camera sitcom stuff. You're shooting in a very familiar way, right? Very static cameras, and then suddenly when you cut to an angle that should be there, or a camera move that would never really feel it.
Yeah, see, even Paul Bettany is backing me up on the dramatic camera angle stuff and how everything switches, and it's really unsettling. What?
I just keep thinking, does he have a fake butt in the Vision costume too? I need to know.
I think the pants, because okay, here's my theory on the fake Paul Bettany butt. In the 1950s, he needed it for the pants because they were like baggy. The Vision costume's tighter. I don't think he necessarily needed it for the Vision costume, but they may have filled him out in the butt a little bit just in case. but I don't think he needed it
That makes me laugh so much.
because he's in shape, and I'm sure he has a nice butt.
temporary structure.
I'm sure.
to
I don't know. I don't.
deal with this.
Have I looked? Only in his vision, but how can you not? The cape gets blowing up, and you're like, well, there's his butt
Something a bit more
again.
stylized and
Gross.
sci-fi. But we wanted to make it a little more realistic, so we started with ideas of what kind of military response is there to a disaster, for example.
Oh, that's interesting. So they did like so for Sword, to develop them more,
Have these response teams.
they based it on like response teams for disasters, which is a duh, right? Because
Yeah.
you would want to contain it. It might be something that people could get, like, because people are getting sick within that hex. They're essentially treating it like a contagion, right? So they're quarantined the area, and now it's become a quarantine zone.
Yeah.
We're inside the pop-up base.
Pop-up base.
The Hex, which is what Darcy calls the magical Wanda world Westview area. So this is all different kinds
Huh.
of military and space science people, and then there's my little desk back there. They gave her like her own little
So
corner,
Kat Dennings is going through all of her
where
stuff.
She's basically cracked the magic.
So you're saying the universe gave this sitcom starring to Avenger.
It makes sense to bring Darcy in to explain it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I couldn't think of any other character that would make sense with the pop culture and science. Because Darcy gets both. Darcy's science and she's pop culture. That's her thing. That's her jam. So when she showed up to this, she already knew what was up. She's like, oh, dude, they're doing a sitcom. It's like it's translating into this weird sitcom thing. She's all messed up in the head. She's like, I got this.
Iterates within the hex.
I was, yeah. That's why when she showed up, I was like, thank God Darcy's here. She's going to explain it to everybody in a way that no one else can.
Everything might look fake in the TV, but everything in there is real.
What's fun is just the contrast. We started in this very sort of light sitcom world, which I had never designed before, so that in itself was fun. But then to dive right into sort of straight
Even her, Elizabeth Olsen's like, even her sweatpants and her yoga outfit or whatever, her jogging outfit, even that looks like Scarlet Witch's jogging outfit, right? It looks like a costume. People are gonna cosplay as that. People are gonna wear that cosplay, and they're gonna be like, "I'm from WandaVision. I'm Wanda from WandaVision." I'm like when she's in her jogging outfit, and everyone's gonna know because it's gonna be that pattern exactly.
extensively. So much of it is a design challenge to get all that right, to sort of express the
That was all over the press materials. Oh, and all the movies too. Big Red, Kidnapped, Oz the Great and Powerful. All the little Easter eggs on the marquee was a cool thing too.
for 2 days, turn it around, you think you'll do like that. Literally doing overnight changeovers, which means that you have to basically define.
The reason why I like the 70s sitcom costumes the most is because they seem the most ridiculous. Like, everyone looks like they're wearing a parody of what they think clothes look like instead of what clothes are. So, like,
Yeah.
so all the lapels are like, they look cartoonish, the bell bottoms, everyone looks like wavy. You don't know why. That's why that's my personal favorite, because the 70s just didn't make sense.
Something I just noticed, and I don't know if they're gonna address this or not, but so at the beginning, at the end of WandaVision,
Right.
it's revealed that Wanda is wearing the outfit that she started Westview in.
Basically,
so the
yeah.
same one that she went in. But when she leaves the Hex to address Sword, she's wearing her Avengers outfit. So
Right.
I wonder if she did that as like an intimidation tactic.
Yes, that's exactly, because they know her as an Avenger, and that's how they remember her. So when she came out, that was her, like, they know me as this. They've seen me in this. This is how they know me, as being powerful and dangerous. So this is my, now it's Scarlet Witch.
Gotcha.
Because she has finally she got her name and her costume. What an intriguing idea to keep bringing back characters from the movies. Give them TV shows and flesh them out. And we've talked about this several times. This really makes me appreciate. I'm gonna rewatch Age of Ultron now and have a way other whole other understanding and appreciation after WandaVision.
Yeah.
Way more. Like, now I feel more connected. I never really felt that connected to Wanda before. I'm not kidding. Like, I'm like, she's a great character and her and Vision are cute. But I never felt connected to. I like Vision. I felt somewhat connected to, but not really, because he was just an android, so it was like he was an AI. But this humanized both characters in a way that like it makes me want to rewatch the movies they're in, and see that narrative play out with the other characters. This is a genius move. The shows make the movies better, and the movies make the shows amazing. Really, it's genius. Like, talk about nailing it. Do you think Marvel could fail at this point? With everything they have planned?
It would take something monumental
To make Marvel fail?
to make Marvel fail.
Okay.
And I think they would be forgiven pretty quickly. I do think they have a project in the works that
Right.
this has more pressure on them than most, though.
I think we're rounding out the end of this, to be honest, because the rest of it's going to be credits, I think.
Boom!
Man.
Usually I'm like one of the only flyers.
Right.
On wires often. That is like something I do a lot in these films.
It's so funny because I do remember her,
So I feel like it's the first
Catherine Hahn, right, as a comedic actress. So seeing her in a Marvel thing is really funny to me. Because she's really funny, but she's also really good at acting. So she's tremendous at playing a villain. Who knew she'd be such a good villain? I never thought this comedic actress would ever turn out to be a Marvel villain. I am blown away by Catherine Hahn's work. She's like, I didn't know she could do it. That's amazing.
we've been harnessed quite a bit, and it was so fun. It was
Oh man, he looks scary without the top of his stuff.
You know who he kind of looks like?
What?
Without all this stuff? He looks like the yellow man in Sin City.
Yes.
Creepy.
The witch fight was awesome. I loved the witch fight at the end. So cool. Hey Shiny, we're finishing up the behind the scenes for WandaVision. We're at 48:55.
And feel those huge fans on me, even though it was like 100-something degrees outside. It was like
Oh,
crazy.
yikes.
Just to feel all the work of all these people.
She's doing almost the crane from. She almost did the crane from Karate Kid for a second.
Make her. You're supposed to be a being capable of spontaneous creation. You are.
Oh Shiny, by the way, check out the new gaming channel. It's in the description below. That's where we're streaming games every day there. So if you go subscribe there, that's the best way to watch because that's where we're uploading.
A villain that's also funny.
Uh-huh.
So it's in the thing below.
I want it all.
in all these big films. You get all those pieces moving that are in, you know, the world's control.
I'm still calling him Cool Mint Viz.
Thanks for the lesson.
White Vision is Cool Mint Viz to me forever.
But I don't need you to tell me.
He looks like a cert. He looks like a lifesaver.
No, he's Cool Ranch and Viz is nacho cheese. They're Doritos.
They're Doritos?
They're Doritos.
This isn't nacho cheese, it's orange. He's purple.
Whatever.
What treat is purple?
That same mandate for the features
Grape
is
treats.
absolutely what they were wanting to achieve for
Grape candy treats. Grape treats. I'm an idiot.
prosthetic. Poor Paul, we paint him purple, and he has to go through the day like that. But otherwise, all the rest of that is a digital effect.
Every time Vision's synthezoid, that he's got a CG face. So we would go back to Matt and say, do you know, for this beat, does he really need to be synthezoid? Could he be human?
Yeah.
And Matt and Jack would often come back with, well, he's his true self. You know, when he's in his home, we want specific beats to be synthezoid, even though they're visual effect shots, just because it's who he is when he's at home with Wanda.
Wow, okay.
So we let the story determine what
It's so weird to see.
Yeah, the whole thing is weird. Seeing them like in and out of their makeup and in and out of their costumes and everything.
did tests using footage from the previous films.
Oh, we're very excited about Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Oh, yeah.
We knocked on a caller
Incredibly
before,
excited.
but can we come and see
I'm
what
probably the most excited about that. Other than like Loki looks good. I'm curious about Loki, but Falcon Winter Soldier is the one I'm like really looking forward to.
So there was a Featurette, and
lo and behold, we did the same with
Don't get me wrong, WandaVision was the sleeper though. I didn't expect it to be this good. WandaVision was just so good.
It was so good.
What we got to was a place where we really keep the performance. Paul is Vision. And so what we end up doing is kind of painting out his ears.
It's
and
so weird.
augmenting.
Yeah, seeing him in the blue with his ears sticking out really creeps me out. I don't like it. I wish they didn't do that. But they have to do it that way.
Wanda's world.
Which messes me up because I didn't know he was mostly CG. I thought that was like makeup on him. But they made the CG look like makeup. What's weird is the stuff that I thought was CG was makeup.
Mm-hmm.
And the stuff that, wait, the stuff that I thought was CG was real. And the stuff that I thought was real was CGI.
Mm-hmm.
Like the makeup on Paul Bettany was CGI mostly, which messes me up because I thought that was the one thing that was makeup. And then all the special effects were mostly real with like wires and stuff and blue screen.
Mm-hmm.
So they had mostly practical effects. When they're flying in the air, they're really flying in the air on wires. So they're hanging
That's
in the air and they're
crazy.
filming. I'm like, but the makeup was fake. And like, I'm like, that blows my mind. And it's like, well, they didn't want him sitting down every day. It's 9 hours, so they just like did that instead. And I'm like, that makes sense.
It's probably, since he's transitioning too
Yeah.
between human and robot so often,
Robo.
it's probably less expensive than doing all the prosthetics too, to just
Definitely.
digitize it.
Are you, Shiny Andrew, which series are you most excited for coming up? We've got Loki, we've got Falcon Winter Soldier, then we also have another one coming up. We have the What If series too, that looks cool. But there was another one.
Star Wars?
No, it was Marvel.
Oh yeah.
There's another Marvel series coming up.
I don't remember.
I hope they do a making of for every one of these series. I want to watch the making of for every series.
I think they're going to, and that's why they made it its own separate
Like
thing.
assembled, and then you
Yeah.
can go watch each show.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Instead of putting it in extras for Wanda.
This was a nice little button for the whole series, being like, hey, here's how we did it, and then the actors are talking about the process and everything. Clearly no news on season 2.
Ooh, are they gonna
There's
talk about
the
her costume?
outfit. Man, the tiara thing, her Scarlet Witch thing is so cool. Everything about her is just cool. That's a power couple, eh? Eh? That's one power couple, eh? That's a power.
Also, yes.
That's it's true though. That, you know, Paul Bettany has a point. It's always been episodic storytelling. He's right. It always has been. The movies were episodic. They were always planned that way. It was not the first one, but everyone after.
What Jack Schaefer and Barry Lovano's Featurette put together was a story that can only be told.
I hate seeing his ears. Why do I hate seeing Vision's ears?
It's weird and unsettling.
Stop it.
For Marvel to take the opportunity to do a television show, and for the first show to come out to be like an actual love song to American sitcoms is so perfect. And it's so perfect for Wanda's character.
Oh yeah, all the well, it does make sense why she comes in and out of her accent all the time.
The journey is, I think it's so
So you're like, wait, what happened to that accent? It's like, well, because she grew up with American sitcoms, so she knew how to fake it from that. And it's like, well,
To
that makes
practice
sense then.
English,
Because if
yeah.
you grow up, like, I grew up watching Monty Python stuff, so I did, like, always doing BS English accents. Of course, mine were just BS for fun. She probably, like, her character had, like, just wanted and learned it because she... And also, I bet in other countries, learning an American accent is handy, right? Like, because then it's like, if you ever come over here, it makes you feel less, like,
it's been such a gift.
outside,
And so
I guess.
really loved doing the show.
Everyone's wearing a mask, that being responsible. I like this. Oh, yay, WandaVision. Love it. Sorry. Yay, WandaVision. Meh. No, sorry. That was wonderful.
They went right up to the end. There's only a minute of credits,
did.
guys. There's a lot of footage.
A tremendous
Is there a post-credit scene?
job
Probably
on
not.
this. No.
Can you imagine?
There's no a post-credits scene for the making of.
Yeah.
That's not all.
Marvel.
Here's what the making of in the future will be, might be, or whatever. All right, wow. Okay, so that's gonna do it for Assembled, the first one. WandaVision. What is it? The making of. Wow. Like things I was surprised by. The stuff I thought was makeup was not. It was CGI, and the stuff that I thought was CGI was practical, and the practical stuff was CGI.
They had way more practical effects in WandaVision than I thought they would.
Very, very, very surprised by a lot of it, by most of it, in fact.
Yeah.
Here's the biggest thing that I want to like walk away from this. All the practical effects they did, I'm just blown away.
Yeah.
And how much they filmed on set, they really did do honor to every genre and every decade, and they really did. I mean, duh. They have the time, the money, and the effort, and the talent to do it.
I mean, the dedication to the 50s episode specifically was insane because they filmed that one as they would film a sitcom in the 50s in front of a studio audience.
Oh yeah, totally.
So-
Yeah. So like, where do we know that they're going next? Well, we know Falcon Winter Soldier's coming. We know Loki's coming. Other shows that were coming, we did have that pulled up at one point. Let me see if I can get something going really quick for that. But we had future Marvel streaming shows coming up. It was something like that. Let me I just like minimized it as soon as it came up. Yeah, we don't need it.
We don't need it.
Marvel's streaming. So we're just doing TV. We're not talking movies, but the movies will be a part of it. Marvel streaming schedule. Boop 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 boop. So I guess we could go through Collider.
Sure.
Let's just say Collider. So Falcon Winter Soldier. That's March 19th.
Yes.
That's next week, and we are doing that midnight show. Then we've got Loki, and that's going to be June 11th.
So pretty much immediately, I don't know if there's going to be a week break like there was this time, but
Right.
pretty much immediately after Falcon Winter Soldier, Loki starts.
Right. And then, well, I can show this part. Let me just show that really quick. Okay, so here we are. That's Loki. Before that, Falcon Winter Soldier, so that's going to be Falcon Winter Soldier 19th. Then we got Loki. So what's the synopsis here? Here's what we know so far. The series takes place after the events of Avengers Endgame, which means Falcon is in possession of Captain America's shield. Emily Van Camp reprises her Winter Soldier role as Sharon Carter, a former shield agent, and Daniel Bruhl is back as Civil War villain Helmut Zemo. The big new addition is Wyatt Russell as John Walker, who in the comics was a supervillain named Super Patriot. He's like a bad guy Captain America.
Interesting.
Serves as so Malcolm Spellman, who did Empire, nice, serves as showrunner, while Carrie Skoglund, The Handmaid's Tale, nice, is directing. Okay, nice.
Cool.
Now we got Loki after that. Okay, when the Avengers travel back in time to the Battle of New York, Loki was laying siege to New York at the time. He gets his hands on the Tesseract and disappears. We remember that. Okay, this new series, Loki will follow the exploits. Go away. Stop it. We don't need this right now. Thank you, Wes Anderson. We'll follow the exploits of that version of the character, a version who has not gone through the redemptive arc of Thor: The Dark World, Thor: Ragnarok, Avengers: Infinity War. He's a different Loki. He's OG Loki, and a version who is definitely not killed by Thanos. That's the most important thing we can take away from this. The series will reportedly find the god of mischief, traveling through various time periods. So he's traveling through various time periods, getting into many shenanigans. Rick and Morty writer Michael Waldron was tapped as showrunner. So that's going to get weird.
It's also going to be real funny.
What If is next after that. I almost nailed it for each one, right?
You did, yeah.
And then What If is clearly going to be, it's, what if Sharon Carter got the super soldier serum, right? What if, Star-Lord was T'Challa from Black Panther, like that kind of stuff.
Oh, he did voice him. I wasn't sure because I didn't know when this was filmed.
After that, we have Hawkeye, and we don't have a date yet. They're still filming it. It's almost done. Miss Marvel, that's going to be cool. They're working on that. Moon Knight, we know Oscar Isaac is playing Moon Knight on that. And She-Hulk.
Yes.
So that is happening. After that, there's going to be Secret Invasion. They're already showing us Kree, maybe some Skrull.
Yeah.
and Ironheart, which is... Oh, and Armor Wars too? Well, that's right, Don Cheadle.
Yep.
This is all tentative, right? Otherwise, we have an I Am Groot series to end it out. Like a kind of funny animated kids
That's
thing.
gonna be a kids thing for sure.
So, to go backwards, I Am Groot is like the very last thing. And that tentatively will be way the hell in the future.
Yeah, to be announced, doesn't have a date.
Armor Wars, which is obviously Don Cheadle's War Machine. That's going to be announced later. He gets center stage. If you want, go read Armor Wars. That'll definitely fill you in. This is an interesting one, Ironheart. So far, Marvel made the announcement in December 2020 that it was developing a Disney Plus series based on Ironheart, which will tell the story of an engineer who develops the most advanced suit of armor since Iron Man himself, and then becomes a superhero. Dominique Thorne will play the title role. Oh, good. So it's been cast already. Cool. Nice. So that's Ironheart. Then Secret Invasion, which is, man, Samuel Jackson, huh? That's going to be cool. And Ben Mendelsohn. Great. So from Captain Marvel. Storyline in the comics at least saw many notable superheroes replaced by Skrull lookalikes. So a lot of superheroes are going to be, it's kind of like body snatchers. It's going to be cool. Then She-Hulk, which, dude, she's an attorney, by the way.
Yeah.
So she practices law green, while she's green. So it's going to be weird. It's going to be awesome. She's the cousin of Bruce Banner. She has been cast, too. Tatiana Maslany. I'm an idiot. And then after that, Moon Knight. Well, before that, I should say, Oscar Isaac, Moon Knight. And he's... Ethan Hawke will be the bad guy in that one. He's supposed to play the bad guy. Moon Knight is hard to describe, so I won't. Next, Miss Marvel. She is, if you don't know, known as Kamala Khan. The character is a teenage Pakistani American with shape-shifting abilities who eventually discovers that she is an Inhuman. In the comics, she assumes the role of Miss Marvel is handed down from Carol Danvers' Captain Marvel. Kamala Khan will also appear in Captain Marvel 2, so the story of Miss Marvel will tie directly into that film, and that's September 2020, and that's going to be late 2021 of this year is the premiere date of Miss Marvel.
Cool.
So the latest show this year will be Miss Marvel, and then if we look extra pale and white, it's because we have the white screen on in front of us, and it's not just our skin. Otherwise, Hawkeye is going to be 2022, the year after that. So we know that Hawkeye's next year. But it is filming currently. And then summer, What If?
Yeah.
And then, of course, brings us right back to Loki, which we know when that happens, and so on and so forth. So, so it's there. It's all there for us to see. It's just, what is the ultimate goal? I still think the introduction of Billy and Tommy is the long game for Mephisto. And everyone keeps saying, oh, Mephisto. Dude, you can't have Mephisto without Billy and Tommy. So the fact that they put Billy and Tommy in and they wrote them in and they have actors playing them, they're breadcrumbing it up to that. I think, in my mind, all of the series are going to connect to that character. Everything leads back to Mephisto. Everything leads back to Mephisto. Pepe Silva. It all goes back to Mephisto. But that's what I'm standing by it, because Billy and Tommy are the seeds of Mephisto being planted. His soul is split into two. Billy and Tommy are his soul. They were manifested through the Hex. He caught on to Scarlet Witch's Hex, parasited it with Billy and Tommy, right? It's messed up. Go read House of M. It's messed up.
I don't necessarily think that Mephisto will be hinted at in Falcon and Winter Soldier.
He might be maybe in the background, maybe like Thanos.
Well, I think Doctor Strange appears in that, so possibly. But I do think if there's any other show he's going to tie into other than WandaVision, it would be Loki.
That's true. That's a good point. Other than that, it probably would be Loki. You're right. Yeah. I mean,
but we'll
because
see.
of the time traveling and the alternate reality crap and crap. It sounds awesome. What am I talking about?
And I do think all of this would be Easter eggs. He's not going to appear in any of these shows. Kevin Feige has said that you don't need to watch the shows to understand the future movies.
That's true. You don't. That's a good thing.
Yeah, they're not going to reveal any universe-changing information.
Or vice versa. You don't need to see the movies to watch the shows, because apparently you can just go in kind of, and then you can go backwards. That's kind of, the comics are like that too.
Yeah.
Really, they're designed that way. from the ground up, it just makes sense to make them into TV shows and movies and connect them, because that's very much what crossover events feel like, and one-shot issues are like TV shows or specials or whatever. So this works very well within the comic book universe. And to me, the comic book universe has now evolved into a cinematic universe, where now it's not just on the pages. Of course it's on the pages. It'll always be on the pages. But now the pages are on the screen. Now we no longer have to read it and hold it and imagine it. Now we see it. So now we no longer, now instead of buying the issues, we watch them. And we go on our subscription and we watch the issues. And instead of going to the local comic book shop, it's like the local comic book shop comes to you and you can see it. That is really, really a special thing, and that's really cool because it sort of continues on the love of the comic books into this new medium, and it evolves it like a Pokemon, why not, into its next evolutionary form. What it will be after that, I don't know. Oh,
We'll have to wait
that's
and see.
crazy.
I'm excited.
Yes, very excited. So other than that, we're going to be back next week at midnight with the Falcon Winter Soldier thing, and we'll be doing speculation chat as well because it's going to be weekly. After that, Loki too. So, and then Star Wars. So just Disney's doing everything. So don't forget, we've got the gaming channel, and that's in the description below. Drew, Shiny, anyone else, if you're there, we just started it. We can use the support because it's. We're starting over on that channel, so
Basically, yeah.
anything you can do to just swing by. We stream every day around 8. We upload content, literally just gaming streams every day there, and then we do video game trailer reactions there as well. But what's in the description below?
In the description below, we have links to some fundraisers for the Black Lives Matter movement, links to our Instagram and Twitter, and as you said, links to our gaming channel.
That's right, all the stuff done in the business. Have a life. Thank you, and goodbye. We'll see you next week. If you're lucky. And the answer is yes, you will be if you're there.